Good morning and good afternoon, commercial pre-sales team. I am Dan O'Brien, your North America pre-sales leader. I am joined today by Mike Casantini, in charge of our North America programs. Mike, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Dan. Thanks for having me here.
Great. So, hey, Mike and I are here with you today. We're going to take about 7 or 8 minutes of your time to walk you through a storage acceleration program that we're excited to kick off and launch for Q3. That being said, I'm sure a lot of you are sitting there and saying, storage acceleration program, what are we doing and why do we have to go do this? Well, Mike and I have been partnering over the last couple months because we've had a little bit of a decline in our storage revenue. Predominantly, our high-end storage business has been down almost 40% in North America year over year. Now, I know there's a difference in accounts that we sell to. We've had some challenges with products, but Mike and I are firm believers that with the right focus and usage of the tools and capabilities that we have the opportunity to get this turned around. So we are launching a program today that is going to have ASEs at the center of driving storage opportunities and creating revenue for the second half of the year. It's also going to be set up to help strengthen the partnership between the ASE and the specialty teams to get us working together and collaborating towards a common goal. We are targeting the entire segment of North America commercial accounts. This is going to focus on some large tech refreshes, accounts that have firing arrays like VMAX and Extreme IO, even Unity and Compelling. And what we're going to do is we're going to walk through the 2 or 3 key things that we think pre-sales can be doing that can attribute to help creating opportunities and more value for some of these higher margin rich solutions that we have. So what's the contest look like? Well, we've took the DAD process that each one of you know and love, and we've broken out very specific things that ASEs can do at each step of the process. So Mike and I have created a point system for each of these things that you can do. It starts off with a tech profile. This is the most critical thing that an ASE can do to create the foundation for any opportunity across the entirety of the portfolio, across storage, across our converged. We're going to offer an engineer 3 points for executing a tech profile. The second part of the process is to take information and learning that we have and to kick off and execute a Get Modern assessment. And for any engineer that creates this or completes this process, we're going to give him or her 2 points. Lastly, if you get to the stage where you've designed a solution, you're defending it, when you have a meeting, discuss and review that assessment, and ultimately get to a proposal, we're also going to reward 2 points. And for bonus, for extra credit, as I know a lot of you out there are doing that, if you have a tech profile that is creating opportunities and you set up a meeting for your counterpart in Isilon or DPS, we are also going to give you 2 additional points. Now, what do these points go to? Mike and I are working to have a weekly dashboard that gets sent out to the greater pre-sales community to talk about which teams and which individuals are winning the contest. For month 1 and month 2, the top 5 ASEs in this contest will get a gold R&R for $2,000 each. Do some quick math, that's $20,000 we're going to give away in the first 2 months for engineers that are driving activity around creating additional opportunities and incremental margin, leveraging our storage portfolio. One quick thing I will note there is the top 5 ASEs for month 1 will not be eligible for month 2, but they will be eligible for the quarterly award. So once the quarter wraps, we're going to give out 2 additional prizes. We're going to give out 5 for the individual contributors that have the highest number of points from the system. Each will get a platinum R&R for $3,000. So in total, quick math, think through this, an engineer that leads in month 1 or 2 and ultimately wins the contest could win up to $5,000 just for doing the things that are part of our job that lead to quality engagement with our customers. We are also going to reward the top team, and we'll look at this by manager. We'll normalize it by the number of heads there, so it is an average per head, and we will have a reward dinner, an event with ASEs, with the MIT team that will be hosted in a city and location where each of you are located by Steve Crow and John Hamlin. So I can't wait to get this contest kicked off. I know a lot of the questions that many of you are asking is, it sounds great, how am I going to go track this and lead through this? So Mike, I know you spent a lot of time working on this. Can you kind of double click onto the program details and start to kick us and walk us through exactly how this is going to work?
Yeah, glad to, Dan. So ASEs, thank you for taking a few moments to learn about these specific program details here. I'm going to skip around here to some of the more pertinent information here. So the way we're going to track this is completely within the core Salesforce instance. We will be tracking MIT assessments through the standard Get Modern assessment process. You're not going to have to do anything different with uploading your Get Modern assessment. But we're going to track the other activity within the core Salesforce instance. We will issue, as Dan said, weekly dashboards, weekly reporting, such that your managers will be able to show where you stack rank against your peers across the country, as well as team type goals. Dan, you know, we're rolling this out early Q3. This will run for the entirety of Q3. We will reinforce this messaging at Tech Summit, and I'm going to review with you some of the training material on how to log your activity here. So Dan, next slide would be great.
Yeah, sure. So Mike, while I switch, one quick question. You mentioned the core instance of Salesforce. Safe to assume you're referring to the legacy EMC version of Salesforce?
Yeah, thanks for asking. Yes, legacy EMC core Salesforce instance.
Awesome. Great. Thank you.
So here are the program KPIs. Dan touched on these. The tech profile, this will be worth 3 points. We will track this in the Salesforce opportunity record. Get Modern assessment, like I indicated, you're going to use your standard Get Modern process to load those into the Get Modern Salesforce portal. We're going to log general meetings, and general meetings are classified as those types of activities that you're going to be doing on a normal opportunity, reviewing tech profiles, reviewing assessments, or reviewing a proposal. Those will be worth 2 points. Dan indicated we've got some bonus points if you set up or attend a meeting and you include Isilon or DPS. Each of those are worth 2 points. Some of the other goals or KPIs, key performance indicators, are to obviously generate more opportunity pipeline and with that effect, additional revenue here.
Awesome, Mike. That's a great point too, is the contest isn't going to track opportunity pipeline and revenue. Those are the ultimate goals. We are going to actually be able to not use that as a metric to win or lose, but give ASEs the ability to go back and show the contributions that they've had with their sales team. So I think that's fantastic.
Okay, so this is the job aid, and then you're going to go to the next screen. So what these are screenshots. So imagine you're in your core Salesforce instance. And I want to talk about briefly the way we're tracking this ultimately, that you will earn your points, is by having an opportunity created. Now, I know from years of being in the field and managing SEs, sometimes there is not an opportunity when you first attend a meeting with a customer, and that's fine. You can log this to the account, but ultimately to get the points down the road, we will have to associate an opportunity. So either within an account or an opportunity, can you go back one screen, Dan? You want to click on Open Activities. So once you click on the Open Activities, next screen, Dan, you will choose New Task. And then at the bottom, you'll see Task Core Pre-Sales. So go ahead and choose Task Core Pre-Sales. Next slide. Okay, this is where we're going to spend some time. So in the subject field for this task, you have 4 choices. And these are open text, so you'll be typing these. One is Tech Profile, one is General, one is DPS, and one is Isilon. So when you have a Tech Profile, in the Type field down below, you're going to choose Assessment. When you have a general meeting, and these are once again to review the assessments, to review proposals, etc., you will choose General. If you have a meeting with Isilon or you set up a meeting with DPS, you will choose those accordingly, DPS or Isilon, and you will use for the Type field Presentation. Now, what's important to note here, and the reason we're taking a little bit of time to talk about this, you're going to be logging all of your activity as a new task here. So if you initially start off with a Tech Profile, you're going to log a record here as a new task. Then you come back maybe a week or 2 later, you attend a meeting, you're going to choose General, and you will choose Presentation. Maybe a week or 2 after that, you bring in Isilon or you bring in DPS. You're going to log another task, choosing Isilon as the subject and Isilon as the actually type field here. So next screen, Dan. For each task that you create here, I want to make sure over on the right here that you choose the pre-sales program of IT Transformation Workshop. I know that doesn't really fit with what we're doing with this program, but we were unable in the time frame to launch this to create a new drop-down. So just choose IT Transformation Workshop. And then down below, we want to relate this to an opportunity. So make sure you relate this to an existing opportunity. And if one isn't created, go ahead and relate that to the account. Just know that when you can get your DCSC to create a opportunity for this, then you want to go back and link this to the opportunity record. And we will be running reports. There will probably be a few accidents at first. We're going to make sure everyone gets credit for the activity they do. And I'll be contacting them, letting them know that they need to link their work here, this task, to the opportunity record.
Awesome,
and one
Mike.
final screen, Dan.
That's fantastic, Mike. So just before we go to the next screen, I think one of the questions I get often from ASEs is that oftentimes I engage with a customer and there isn't an opportunity yet, but one comes further down the line. So you set this up so an ASE can enter a task, whether it's a tech profile or a meeting, but after the fact, if an opportunity gets created, they'll be able to go back and update that task to include it?
Yeah, exactly. Good point. So they will just go ahead and edit the task that is created. Of course, they'll find it under their account. So edit the task, or associate it here where it says related to, where the big red arrow is, relate it to the opportunity that was created for this.
That's perfect. Couldn't be better.
And one final screen. So it's important that we track all the activity here, and we are asking that the relevant files be attached to this task. So if you have a proposal, make sure you attach that here. If you have a tech profile, or you have any other type of presentation, please attach those files so that your manager can review this and then see the great work that everybody's doing here. So attach the file and then save this new task, and then the activity is complete.
That's perfect, Mike. That sounds super easy, straightforward, using a lot of the common tools that we've had before. And if there's any questions, we've got a couple pages we can print out to walk through it. You know, I've got a few questions, but I guess I'll save those for a bit. You want to just kind of bring it home here, and then we'll hit a few of the commonly asked questions that we've been getting from some people?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about a real scenario here, account ABC. Let's say you as an ASE, you complete a tech profile. This is the activity that you'll follow. You're going to log a task, and the subject field will be tech profile. The type field will be assessment. You will earn 3 points there. Let's say you do a Get Modern assessment after that. You will follow the standard Get Modern assessment process that everybody's used to. There's a URL here, and that'll be worth 2 points. Down the road, you might have a meeting there to review the tech profile and the Get Modern assessment. That'll be worth 2 points. So you'll choose a general type meeting, and the type field will be presentation. And if you have an additional meeting with DPS or you set up a meeting with them, make sure that you get credit for that. You log the new task, subject to DPS, type field, a presentation, 2 points are in there. There's a summary in the bottom right. You'll earn 9 points for this one set of activity with this account ABC.
Awesome. Sounds great. So, Mike, I know you've been doing a lot of work kind of reviewing this with some of the different managers and ASEs in the field, and you've got a list of common questions. You mind walking me through a couple of the top ones that you've heard? Make sure that we address those. And, of course, by the way, if anybody has any questions as we go through this process, don't hesitate to reach out to Mike or myself.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. So here's an FAQ of some questions that came up when we reviewed this with some ASEs and some managers. So how do I get points for the Get Modern assessments? So just a quick reminder, you're going to follow the standard Get Modern Flash assessment process. Make sure that you do enter in the core opportunity ID number into that assessment process. If I have 4 meetings with the customer, do I get points for each meeting? Technically, no. You can get points for a single general meeting, and then if you have a meeting with Isilon and a meeting with DPS. So what's the process to use if I have a single meeting and I bring in Isilon or DPS? This goes back to myself indicating you're going to log each task. So you're going to create 2 separate tasks in Salesforce. Task for a single general meeting, and then a task for DPS or Isilon. Do the meetings have to be in person? No, absolutely no, they don't. If you have a webinar and you're sharing these proposals, you're reviewing a tech profile, you'll absolutely get credit for that as long as you follow this process and log these accordingly. And last one, what if I am working on an opportunity with an MIT specialist? Will you get credit? Absolutely, you will. All you need to do is make sure you log a tech profile as a task in the opportunity. So the thinking here is If you go in and do a tech profile with an account, and then your MIT specialist follows up and starts to run that campaign, you will absolutely get credit for that, and we have the back-end process set up to do that.
Awesome. Mike, this is actually absolutely fantastic. I haven't, this is the first time I've really seen this whole look. You put a ton of work into it. It makes a ton of sense. It's super easy and intuitive and really helps drive the behavior that differentiates our organization as ASEs, and I'm really excited to see not only the contribution to the pipeline of revenue, but I'm even more excited to give out some money and award some prizes to the team. So thanks for your work, Mike. I appreciate your partnership. And for all you in the field, I look forward to giving out some money and